In the end, we'll see turbulence like a battered airplane in the worst of storms. Except this storm is in the cyber world, along with our savings, our pension funds, and our government debt, all supported by a figment of someone's imagination. Central bankers have even expressed their concerns. Supranational entities such as the IMF have shouted warnings. Billionaires have long prepared for the worst. Financial markets are nothing but a fraud, and it's all going to hit the fan. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we are going to talk about how this system is dying. And if you listen closely, you can hear the death rattle. Let's get into these two first articles, which are about Canada. Beginning with this one. It's been a dismal start to the year for Canada's newspapers, and investors are seeing little sign of a turnaround. I'm not going to read you the article, but basically what it says is that they're having some trouble at this time. Corporate profits are not doing so well. And right there they say some publishers are even suggesting that the government support is necessary. Now, this right here is something that we hear consistently, that government support is what is needed in order to save the private sector. Now, we've seen this with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We've seen this countless times, in fact, where all the bailouts occurred. And what happens is the debt is simply transferred from the private sector to the public sector. And that doesn't eliminate the debt. It simply exchanges it and puts it over your and my shoulders. Now, what I'm also seeing here is a consolidation of media companies. And we already have such limited amounts of media companies to begin with. But here is another sign that we could be facing even more collaboration. This is not a good thing for the future of media. This here is talking about what they call basic income, guaranteed annual income, negative income tax, or minimum income. It's all essentially amounts to the same simple solution. Eliminate poverty by giving people money. Let's stop there for a second and just talk about that. Right away, I feel that this could be abused immediately. Of course, it's not as simple as that, not as black and white. There's more to this. Essentially, what we're talking about is no different than what has been discussed before. They get into it in the article here, but what we're looking at is giving people a base salary and then eliminating, in certain cases, depends on who you look at, they're talking about basically eliminating some of the other types of programs. So you can manage it easier. If everyone is just getting at least, I'll make up a number, and let's say $20,000 a year, then you wouldn't have to give them certain social assistance programs. Everyone could just get one base salary, and it would be a lot less overhead, a lot less government required. But if people are getting paychecks for extended periods of time, perhaps forever, then you lose the ability to desire, to have a need to work. That's the fine line that needs to be drawn right here. The idea, supported apparently by 46% of Canadians according to one poll, has boosters across the political spectrum because it is not only helping people, it can also save money by reducing bureaucracy and poverty-related health care and criminal justice expenses. I do believe that, there's some truth to this. I'm not going to deny that, but I really feel that in every single case that I've seen, we see an expansion of the government as a result. It never works out in our favor. We're always seeing more and more government, and that is never a good thing. Big government equals bad government. Let's look at this here from my book as we talk about the different levels of impoverishment. And we see that, you had the food stamp program and welfare and everything else. But what I talked about here was unemployment. Unemployment insurance, close to 10 million Americans at the time. And this was probably statistics from 2011. It's gone up considerably since. That's nearly 4 times the amount since 2007. So it's gone many multiples more than it was just prior to the financial crisis. To top it off, benefits have been extended by Congress 8 times beyond the basic 26-week program. This allows long-term unemployed to get up to 99 weeks of benefits. So what I'm trying to explain here is that there's a moral hazard, and that is if people, and I explain it further down here in the book, essentially saying that if people are going to get 99 weeks of unemployment, why in the world are they going to go back to work? Yes, some people will, but if some people are going to get a low-paying temporary job, why not just collect unemployment for long-term or as long as they can get it for? This is what many people have done, and it is abused. It's a program that gets abused. So this is why I mention this. Congress is wary of Chinese deal for Chicago Stock Exchange. I've covered this recently, talking about how this Chinese firm wants to purchase the Chicago Stock Exchange. Now, on the surface level, there's nothing necessarily wrong with this, but we look deeper into it, and they make the case throughout this article suggesting that many large companies in China are owned at least partially by the Chinese government. It is a little bit risky when you have a government, foreign government that is, owning a major institution. This could affect things over the long term. They do cover more in here. I just wanted to highlight it. I just wanted to bring that to you and perhaps see what you have to say. This right here is very interesting. I've covered it in practically every video, but we're looking at the computer algorithms. The Japanese quant who made a robot for calling the stock market. This unassuming man in his late 40s has built a machine that's been predicting the direction of the Japanese shares, and once a month he gets the progress report on its success. And it's right 68% of the time. It's actually better than human beings. And what they're, you can read the article as I always say, but look at this. Algorithms have invaded global share markets used by everyone from high-frequency traders closing bets in fractions of a second to specialist asset managers whose strategies are determined by complex quantitative analysis. Your pension fund, your 401k, your RRSP, your everything that goes along with this. All the financial markets, they're all tied to this garbage. If you think that you can invest in one individual stock and you will predict where it goes based on anything, any stat, if you want to use the PE ratios and you've been looking at the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, and you've been assessing the different values of the company. You've looked at this individual stock inside and out, and it looks solid. You have no idea what's going on because this is what drives the market. The fundamentals are dead. Look at this here, just last but not least, wanted to bring this out. The Turkish president is expected to try to push through parliament a new constitution concentrating power in his office after efforts to write a charter agreeable to all political parties collapsed. That's right. If you're not willing to agree with me, let's just go and create a new constitution. This is unbelievable. Prepare it and submit it to the nation. Let the nation decide on it. That's what he said. We will make a new constitution in line with the building of a new Turkey. God willing, the presidential system will be realized in this way. Anytime they try to consolidate power, watch out. Anytime they say, give me power just for just a temporary period of time, just a little bit. Just give me just a little bit of power, and everything will be okay. You know, it is exactly the opposite. That's when the alarm bells need to sound. Everything is going to get worse from here on in if that goes through. This is no different than what has happened with Obama signing all of these presidential orders, or whatever he calls them today, the memorandums even. It's not looking good. That's all I wanted to talk about in this video. If you found it informative, of course, please give me a thumbs up. It truly helps me out very much. I'd like to say, actually, I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but in the description, sometimes I do not put all of the sources. Now, I'm not trying to hide anything, but a video like this, what I have to do is I have to be very careful, because if I mention certain names of countries, or the word ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Taliban or war or anything like this, if those words are in the description, the titles, or anywhere, my video gets a flag on it, basically. And this right here is very concerning to me. So I generally, if it has any of that, I talk about it. I show you that. But I will not include the source. So if you want the source, just look at the actual page. I've always got them open, so just look at the actual hyperlink in the video itself. That's really the only way I can do this and manage it. So I do appreciate your patience with that. If you found this video informative, I know you'll find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. And if you want to look through it, just go over to Amazon. They have this look inside feature. It allows you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care.